Hello, here we are to talk about lesson 118, which is covering English volume conversions. So, first of all, English refers to the US customary system and not the metric system. So, we will be dealing with feet, inches, yards, things like that instead of centimeters, meters, kilometers. And then the next term there is volume, which volume is when we find the space a three-dimensional object takes up or the amount of space it can hold. So remember that area is measuring the amount something covers that is flat. So that's length times width is two-dimensional. And when we find volume, it's three-dimensional because we have to do length, width, and height. So there's three dimensions, 3D, that we're working with here. And then to convert, or conversions means to change from one unit to another. So this is one of those lessons that you have to have some information memorized. It would really help you if you did. So for example, the relationship between feet and inches, which by now you've probably been doing for a long time. So you all have probably pretty much mastered that. But if you haven't, just spend some extra time studying that. Maybe make a sticky note to keep next to you as you're working through these problems. So in the introduction in lesson 118, they give you a diagram where they show you this cube, and it's 12 inches by 12 inches by 12 inches. And so we know that if we were to lay each one of those layers of 12 by 12 out, if we were to calculate them all the way up, it would come out to the same answer as 12 times 12 times 12, which is 1,728 cubes, okay? But sometimes we're going to be asked to change things from feet to inches, inches to feet, and they're going to give the original units in units cubed, which means that it's volume. Anytime you see a unit that's cubed, that's a red flag or an indication that the measurement that you're being given is for volume. So 118.1 is the example. It says use 3 unit multipliers to convert 12 cubic feet to cubic inches, okay? And so they give you the clue of 3 unit multipliers. So the thing that I've always taught you guys that is really helpful is if you set up a skeleton, okay? So first we write the given unit that we have, which is 14 cubic feet. Now they write out cubic feet, and I feel like that's to try to challenge and confuse you, because most of the time we would see it like this, 14 feet cubed. And when we see that little 3, it reminds us that we need 3 feet measurements to cancel out that feet and turn it into inches. So when we set up our skeleton, we're going to make space for those 3 unit multipliers, and then we know that our final answer needs to be in inches cubed, okay? So remember, whatever is in the numerator in our given has to be in the denominator. So something of feet has to be here in the denominator, right? Because in multiplication, we cross cancel or cross reduce out. And we need 3, 1, 2, 3 to cancel that unit, okay? And then we know that we're going to have inches in our numerator because that's what we end with for our final answer. So remember, a unit multiplier is a fraction that's equal to 1 with 2 different units on top and bottom. So what could we put here that's feet and inches that's equal to 1? Well, 1 foot equals 12 inches. That's saying the same thing, right? So we're going to fill that in all the way across in all of our unit multipliers. We can reduce this feet, 1, 2, 3. And then all we have left is 14 times 12 over 1, 12 over 1, 12 over 1. We know that we can just multiply it through 12 times 12 times 12. Now, your book gives the answer like this. 14 times 12 times 12 times 12 inches cubed. Okay, so it's just because they decided not to multiply it out completely. But if we were to do that, all we'd have to do is 14 times 12 times 12 times 12, and that would be 24,192 inches cubed. Okay, as you get on into higher level math and science, a lot of times you're going to see it just left like this. This just acknowledges that you know you have to multiply 14 feet times 12 3 times to get it into cubic inches. All right, so let's look at the second example. Example 118.2 says use 6 unit multipliers, Jeezo, to convert 140 cubic yards into cubic inches. Okay, so you have to ask yourself, I have 140 cubic yards, so that looks like this. And I've got to turn it into inches. Now, what measurement comes between yards and inches? Feet, okay? So we're going to have 3 feet unit multipliers and 3 inches unit multipliers. That's where our 6 unit multipliers are going to come from. So I'm going to start with 140 yards cubed, and then I have to multiply it by 3 feet measurements and then 3 inch measurements. Okay, so I'm going to fill in my skeleton. Whoopsies. Got a little feet happy there. Inches. Ooh, sorry, I'm doing this wrong. Sorry. Yards has to be on the bottom, right? Okay. And so let's work on this first. 1 yard is equal to 3 feet. But now we have to get rid of those feet because we need to turn it into inches, which means that we need 3 feet measurements on the bottom and 3 inch in the numerator. So 12 inches, 1 foot, 12 inches, 1 foot, 12 inches, 1 foot. Now we're going to cancel out our units. We have 3 yards, can cancel 3 yards, 3 feet, cancel 3 feet, and we're left with 1, 2, 3 inches. So we're going to get inches cubed as our unit. And that's what they're asking us for. Now, we have 140 times 3 times 3 times 3 times 12 times 12 times 12 inches cubed. That's as far as the book takes it. Let's see what that turns out to be. 140 times 3 times 3 times 3 times 12 times 12 times 12 is 6,531,840 inches cubed. Geez, that's a lot of inches cubed, okay? So just remember, set up your skeleton so that your units cancel out, and then you can leave it like this, just showing that you know that all these things have to be multiplied by each other, or you can multiply it out. They won't ever be wrong on a test of mine, and since you only have one of those left, I wouldn't worry too much about it for now, but you will see this in your science and math classes in the next couple years. All right, so one more. Use 6 unit multipliers to convert 50,163,529 cubic inches to cubic miles. Okay, so this time we're taking a big measurement and we're going to be making it smaller. But the system and the way about doing this is the same. So 50,163,529, and it's cubic inches. And we're going from inches to miles. Now, what comes between inches and miles? Feet, okay? So we're going to have 3 inch multipliers. Okay, and we're doing inch to feet. And then we're going to do feet to miles. Because they want our answer in miles, right? So we're going to do 1 foot, 12 inches, 1 foot, 12 inches, 1 foot, 12 inches. How many miles, or I'm sorry, 1 mile is how many feet? 5,280. 5,280. 5,280. Okay, so the way that this is gonna, well, let's do our canceling first. So we need 3 inches, 1, 2, 3, and then we need 3 feet. And we're left with miles cubed. So the way you can list this, and the book does it this way, 50,163,529 divided by 12 times 12 times 12 times 5280 times 5280 times 5280. All right, so you can leave it like that, or you can do the math. Let's see what it comes out to be. 50,163,529 divided by 12, divided by 12, divided by 12, divided by 5280, divided by 5280, divided by 5280 equals 0. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6 zeros. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and a 2. So tenths, hundredths, thousandths, 10 thousandths, 100 thousandths, 10 millionths, 100 millionths, 200 millionths. So it's very, very, very small. All right, so hopefully that made sense. Remember, unit multipliers, they'll always tell you how many you need. Try to memorize those conversions. Ask yourself what comes between yards and inches, because they're going to give you problems like that. You only have one practice problem, so I'm hoping you can get through that one, and then I'm always available if you have questions.